Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to add and subtract fractions. So say we have an example that looks something like this. To add and subtract fractions, we need a common denominator. So common denominator. Well, what does a common denominator mean exactly? A common denominator, we look at this word denominator, right? Denominator means basically the number at the bottom, okay? So this 5 here is a denominator, okay? What I'm pointing at, and this 30 here is a denominator. So we need a common denominator, okay? This here, these numbers at the top are called numerators, by the way, but we're looking at the denominator now, so we need to make sure the denominator is the same, okay? And here 30 and 5 are not the same. 30 and 5 are not the same. Okay, that's not good, okay? We cannot add these fractions yet. So what we have to do is find a common denominator, so the same number to represent the denominator, so the number at the bottom. So what we can do is we can multiply, right? Multiply these fractions by some sort of number, multiply this fraction by some sort of number, or we can just multiply one of them, okay? And in this case, we have to find the LCM. So LCM, which means the lowest common multiple. So to find the lowest common multiple of 5 and 30, right, we can basically list the multiples, right? So list 5, and then 5, this is 5 times 1, right? And then it's equal to 5, 5 times 2 is equal to 10, 5 times 3 is equal to 15, 5 times 4 is equal to 20, so on and so forth, and then we can list it for 30 as well. So 30 times 1 is 30, 30 times 2 is 60, and so on and so forth. Well, we already know that if we take 30 and we divide by 5, we're going to get 6, right? So we know if we do 30 divided by 5, right? So if we take this number here and we divide by this number here, we are going to get 6. Okay, we are going to get 6. So we know that 30 here is divisible by 5. And so we know that 5 times some sort of number is going to give us 30. And here, as we said here, 30 divided by 5 gives us 6, right? It just basically means that 5 times 6 is going to give us 30, right? So here we just multiply by 6 and we're going to get 30. Now when we multiply the denominator by 6, we want to make an equivalent fraction. So we multiply the denominator by 6, right? But we also have to do the same in the numerator because we're trying to make an equivalent fraction to 6 over 5, right? We can't just multiply one part by 6, we have to multiply the numerator as well because we need to make sure this fraction is equal. So basically the result of this is 6 times 6, right? And then 5 times 6, so it's going to be 36 over 30, and that's going to be equal to this, right? Equivalent fractions, so if I was to write this out, like if you have 6 over 5, right? It's equal to basically 6 times 6 over 5 times 6, right? We multiply by 6 in the numerator and the denominator, and we basically are going to get 36 over 30 because 6 times 6 is 36, 5 times 6 is 30. So this here and this here, they're equivalent fractions, okay? So they're equivalent. So we cannot basically multiply just by one of them, okay? Or it won't be an equivalent fraction because our next step, we are going to write an equal sign like that. So we're basically going to make sure that this expression is equal to the next line. So in this next line, we have 11 over 30, right? We don't need to multiply by anything because we don't have to change this denominator. And then this is 6 times 6, so it's going to be 36. 5 times 6 is going to be 30. And now we have the same denominator. Perfect. So now we have the same denominator. We can take these two numbers. We can add them together, right? The denominator is the same for both of them, okay? So we'll just combine it like that. 11 plus 36 is going to give 47, so I'm going to write 47 right here. This is over 30. How did I get 47? Well, I took 11, I took 36 like that, put them together and I added it, right? 1 plus 6 is 7, 1 plus 3 is 4, so 47 like that. So there we have it. And we aren't able to simplify this fraction any further, so this is our final answer. So now say we have a question that looks something like this, and we are trying to find the common denominator for these fractions, okay? So what we can do is we need to find the LCM, right? The lowest common multiple. So here we have 21, right? To find the lowest common multiple for 21, for 14, and for 3, right? 21, 14, and 3. So I'm just gonna put this down as the first one. So we're gonna make a list. So 21 times 2 is 42, and then keeps going on, right? And then 14 times 2 is 28. Okay, 3 times 2 is 6. Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna continue this. 28 plus another 14, right? I'm adding 14 here. I'm adding another 14. Or you can think of this next number as 14 times 3. So if you add another 14 to 28, it's the same as 14 times 3. So if I do, let's say 28 plus 14, I'm going to get, well here, 8 plus 4 is 12. Yeah, so put the 2 here, carry over a 1. 2 plus 1 is going to be 42. So this here is going to be 42. Oh wait, we have a common one, yay. Okay, well we got a common one here. And for 3, wait a minute. Is 42 divisible by 3? So if we do 42 and we divide it by 3, does that work? Let's try that. 42 and 3 here, put 3 times 1 is 3, so subtract this. 4 minus 3 is 1. Then now we can put down the 2. 3 times 4 is going to be 12 as shown here. And then 12 here, and then another line here. We get 14. Hey, this is because if we subtract this, we get 0, right? So, okay, remainder 0. So 14 times 3 gives us 42. 42 divided by 3 is 14, right? It's a whole number. So that means 42 is divisible by 3. So if we keep listing this 3, right? We add 3 here, add 3 here is 9, add 3 here, 12. 3 times 5 is 15, like we add 3 here, and if you go continue it so on and on and on for 3, you're going to eventually, at some point, you're going to get 42 as one of them. You are going to get 42 as one of them, and why is that? Because 42 divided by 3 gives 14, so 3 times 14 gives 42, right? So if you basically continue these numbers and you have 14 numbers, like for finding the LCM, right? You're listing the multiples. You have 14 numbers, the 14th one is going to be 42. So that means 42 is the LCM, and that means 42 is a common denominator that we can use here. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply, right? Multiply these numbers and try to get 42. So 21 multiplied by what gives 42? Well, this one here's the second one, so that means if we multiply by 2, we will get 42. Multiply by 2 here, we're going to get 10 times 2, right? We have to do the numerator as well. Remember that because we need to create equivalent fractions before we can basically add these and subtract these together. So now 14, okay? 14 times 3, this is the third one right here, so times 3, right? And then whatever we do to this bottom, we must do to the top. And then 3 here, we must multiply by 14. Right, because as shown before, 3 times 14 is equal to 42. So I'm going to multiply this by 14 right here, multiply by 14 right here. So same thing, same thing, same thing, like that. Now, this is going to be equal to the next line. That's why we have to create equivalent fractions. That's why we can't just multiply the bottom or just the top. We must multiply both the top and bottom by the same number. Now, 10 times 2 is 20. 21 times 2, as mentioned before, is 42. Minus 1 times 3, that's going to be 3. 14 times 3 is going to be 42. 2 times 14 is going to be 28. 3 times 14 is 42. And now, since we have the same denominator, combine these, right? This is just 42. Same denominator for the final fraction. So we have to do 20 minus 3 plus 28. 20 minus 3 is equal to 17. So 17 and then plus 28, right? We combine this part. And then this is over 42. And then from here, we do 17 plus 28. So 17 plus 28. So 8 plus 7 is going to be 15. So carry over this 1, right? 15. And then 1 plus 2 is going to be 4. This is going to be 45. And then the denominator is 42. And wait a minute, we're not done yet. No, we are not done. And why is that? Because these two numbers are both divisible by 3. So we can simplify this fraction into an equivalent fraction. Okay, so simplest form, so 45 divided by 3. What is 45 divided by 3? 45 divided by 3, well, we multiply it by 1, we're going to get 3 here. 4 minus 3 is 1, and we put 5 here. 3 times 5 is equal to 15. So remainder is 0 now. So this is going to be 15 in the numerator. And then 42 divided by 3 is shown here from before. It's 14, so I'm going to write 14 right here. And there we have it. So this is 15 over 14 as our final answer as an improper fraction. And so yeah, that answers this question. So anyways, guys, this is the end of my YouTube video. If this video helped, feel free to give it a like, and furthermore, I always love to know your thoughts on my YouTube videos, so feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you are new to my channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I hope to see you next time for another math video. Bye!